All right, so where we're going to start is right at our screen, right behind the screen here. We have a little cover that's clipped in on the back that's going to be concealing 3 7mm screws that are holding the screen down. So I'm going to grab my panel tool and just pop this off. And when you're popping this off, you want to be mindful of the dash. You don't want to mar up the dash at all. This is a soft kind of cushion material, so you can take chunks out of it if you have a panel tool and you use it improperly. But once that's removed, you can see our 3 7mm screws right there. And we can unplug our screen right in the center here. There we go, and we'll set this aside. We won't need to use this again. All right, so before I move forward, I went ahead and grabbed my little magnetic bowl here. I can throw my screws in there. Basically what we're trying to achieve is reaching the A-pin, which is kind of buried underneath the dash here. It's not difficult, it's just a lot of steps involved. It's going to be a lot of screws that we have to take off. So having a little bowl here will keep all of those from being lost. Where that screen was covering exposed 2 more 7mm screws. We're going to have to get those out. Got 1 and 2. So now basically this whole trim panel going all the way across needs to be pulled off. It's just held in with retaining clips. We'll go ahead and start popping those out. And when you get to around this area, this section right here is prone to cracking. You want to be careful and not put a ton of tension on this section right here. So we'll use our panel tool to help us. And on the back side, you have 1 connector. Get that unplugged and we can set this aside. And once you pull that trim panel, that's going to expose 2 more 7mm screws that are holding your vents on. We got to get those pulled out. This should just pop right out. We'll get this emergency button unplugged. We'll set this aside. All right, once you have your AC vents removed, it's going to expose 2 more 7mm that are going straight down. You can use an angle driver or something very shallow. You don't have a lot of room in here, so I'm just going to use a little 7mm ratchet. All right, so next up we have to remove our shifter bezel here. There's clips all at the front side here and long tabs that kind of run under the rear. So what we got to do is pop it up in the front and then we'll push forward to release the tabs in the back, and that way we can pull this out. This is necessary because we've got to pull the side panels out. We got to get under here, pull the wireless charger out to get this whole panel out. So this is going to be the first step of that process on the bottom. And this is kind of tight down here. Just like that. And you're going to push forward. That'll release all the clips, and now we'll just go ahead and unplug everything under here. This has one of those lever style connectors up front. All right, next up, we got to pull our side console panels out. The right side, or the passenger side, is just held in with retaining clips. Get these all popped out all the way down. Pull this out, we can set this aside. The driver's side actually has an 8mm screw way up front. Make sure that you pull that screw out before you just go yanking on that side. All right, so we're under the driver's side knee bolster area. We have this little panel right here we got to pop out. And this panel only goes back in one way, so if you place it down the wrong way, keep in mind that bigger end goes towards the front of the vehicle. So there's one side that's thicker than the other, that's the top side. If you try to force it the other way, you'll probably break these off. And then that exposes that 8mm. Get that pulled out. And since we're down here, we might as well go ahead and pull the 2 7mm screws that are concealed under this panel that are holding this panel on. And this side is just held on with some clips. And you don't have to fully pull it. You can see one right here, and there's one more right on the bottom there. As long as you can clear this panel and get those screws out, you're good to go. That side's good to go. Now we'll go ahead and pull our panel off of our center console. All right, so now we have both left and right center console panels removed. That's exposing the 2 7mm screws that are holding on this little compartment here that has our wireless charger. Go ahead and pull both those out, the left and the right. All right, now this panel just lifts up and out. And we actually don't even need to unplug it. We can just set that aside. All right, next up, we have right below our climate controls, we have this little panel here that has to be popped out. I'll just grab an edge with a panel tool. And this is held in with some retaining clips. There you go. Now this is going to expose 2 more 7mm screws. There's one here and one here. And those should be the last screws that we have to remove. So let's get our angle driver. Alright, just like that. Alright, with all the screws removed, we're now ready to pop this panel off. Just held in with some clips. And we can drop this, but we don't need to pry anything on that side. It's just clipped in. Now we can go ahead and remove all of our connectors back here. And we'll set this aside. All right, and as you can see, that exposes our ACM here. The A-pin is actually up here, so we have to remove this to gain access to it. All right, so what we're gonna do first is grab our panel tool and remove these 2 zip-tied clips here that are retaining our wires. Once you have that free, we can go ahead and unplug all of them. All right, and now we are left with 4 7mm. Then we can just pull straight back. Now we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel here. We got our A-pin right up here. All right, now way up here, you got your A-pin. You have 3 7mm screws on this bracket that's holding this on. So we'll pull these 3 screws out. This very most front one is actually kind of deep in there. So having a long 7mm bit driver comes in very handy here. Also, magnetic tip is your best friend, because once you drop these screws in here, you're probably not going to get them back. Now we can kind of fish this thing down a little bit. This is where it gets a little tricky, because they don't give you a lot of room on those wires. So we're going to have to kind of use the force here to unplug these. We're going to start with the USB port, and you see we got our antenna line, screen lines, and everything on this side. We'll get this main connector unplugged. It's a typical Ford style lever connector. Once you drop that lever, the plug will come out. That. Now we need to remove this LVDS cable. These can be kind of tight in there. Use my panel tool for leverage. All right, and this is basically what we're working with in there. All right, so now that we got this out, we're ready to swap our A-pins out. We just got some Phillips screws here. So we'll grab our A-pin and remove these screws. All right, we'll grab our new A-pin. All right, we got our new A-pin. All right, now we're ready to reinstall our A-pin with the bracket and everything. So kind of a pain in the butt. Once you get in there, you're not really gonna be able to see what I'm doing because the wires are very short, not a lot of slack on there. But when we get up in there, we're just gonna be basically plugging our lug connections back in. All right, we got those lined up. 3 7mm are gonna go back in. All right, that's all mounted. We're ready for the reinstallation of our ACM. All right, now we're ready for our climate controls and our center dash bezel here. Remember that it kind of lips over the bottom edge on your knee bolster on the driver's side. Make sure you tuck that back there. Then we can just go ahead and plug the connectors back in. All right, and then this whole panel will clip back into place. All right, very good. Now we'll go ahead and reinstall the two 7mm that we're going straight down, securing this top. All right, now we'll reinstall the two 7mm that were on the bottom. And you can snap that panel back in also. All right, now we'll grab our AC vent, get that plugged back in, clip this back into place, and the two screws. And now we're ready for our audio controls. Make sure to plug that back in. And you can go ahead and snap this all back in. And then we have the two 7mm screws up top here. Lastly, we can plug in our screen up top. We'll finish up the top and then we'll move back down to the bottom and get the rest of the car put back together. There we go. And then you have the three 7mm screws on the back side we'll put in. All right, now we're gonna reinstall the two 7mm that are underneath our steering column. We can snap this panel back together. All right, and then we can spin our wireless charger back into place. Just like that, and then we'll reinstall the two 7mm that go on the sides. Now we're ready for our side panels here. And let's kind of flex them out of the way so none of those clips fall off when I'm putting this into position here. And a good way to know where you need to be is there's a little square here that needs to be lined up to the other squares that are in the other panels. Just like that there. And we can clip it back into place. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the driver's side. All right, we're gonna line up the panel on the driver's side the same way. And then way up front here, we have that single 8mm screw. And just like I mentioned before, make sure you line up the big and the small side to its corresponding holes on here, because you don't want to put that in there upside down. And the last piece is our cup holders with our gear shift selector. And actually, when you pull this out, it's probably a good time if yours is kind of grimy, maybe you got some coffee in there, it's a good time to clean that out. And just like before, we have to slide this in from the front to the back. Then we can set it down and clip it in place. All right, so you can see we got our radio turned on, and you can see just how awesome that navigation is built in. You got your different views here. 3D view is my favorite. But yeah, now you don't have to rely on your cell phone for navigation. You have it all built in.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, Infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and have a great day.